Let me guess. Your shirt cost less than a latte, right? And yet, it came with free shipping. Impressive. Almost like magic. Or slavery. On April 24th, 2013, in Savar, Bangladesh, a building named Rana Plaza collapsed. 1,134 people died. Most were young women sewing clothes for brands you've definitely seen, probably even worn, like Primark, Benetton, Mango, Walmart, and C&A. Here's the kicker. The day before the collapse, massive cracks were found in the walls. The banks and shops inside evacuated immediately. But the garment factories, they told workers, "Get back to work or lose your wages." The next morning, the building came down like a stack of cheap t-shirts in a discount bin. And yet, despite the media outrage, protests, and promises of never again, the exact same supply chain abuses are happening today. Only now, it's turbocharged by online ultra-fast fashion brands like Shein and Temu. As The Guardian reported in 2023, factory workers in Guangzhou making Shein products are putting in 75-hour work weeks for less than $600 a month. That's barely enough to buy the influencers who promote them a single outfit. So, is the Rana Plaza disaster a tragedy of the past, or a warning that's still being ignored? Today, we're going to pull the thread, and trust me, the whole thing's going to unravel. The day the cracks showed, and no one listened. This wasn't just a building collapse. It was the deadliest garment factory disaster in history, and it didn't happen in a vacuum. According to the BBC's coverage from April 2013, Rana Plaza was constructed without proper permits, using substandard materials, and had extra floors illegally added. The building was never designed to handle the weight of industrial sewing machines, huge fabric rolls, and thousands of workers. The day before the collapse, TV channels like ATN News in Bangladesh showed footage of deep cracks running down the walls, visibly unsafe. Shops and a bank inside the building closed immediately. But the factory's managers told workers, "The building is safe. You must finish the order." Those orders weren't for the local market. The New York Times revealed on April 30th, 2013, that over 29 international brands were linked to production inside Rana Plaza. Some, like Primark, admitted to it. Others claimed they had no idea their clothes were being made there thanks to the murky subcontracting web of the garment industry. And here's the twist. Those very subcontracting chains were designed to give plausible deniability. Brands set impossibly low prices and tight deadlines, suppliers scramble to meet them, and the work gets pushed further down the chain to smaller, less regulated workshops. The result? The cheapest factories with the worst safety standards get the most orders. If this sounds like a relic of the past, think again. In December 2022, Reuters investigated Shein's supply chain and found unauthorized subcontracting, cramped factories, and unsafe conditions eerily similar to pre-Rana Plaza Bangladesh. It's not just about one bad apple, it's the system. And Rana Plaza was the system's ugliest self-portrait. Even worse, this disaster wasn't the first wake-up call. In November 2012, just 5 months earlier, a fire at the Tazreen Fashions factory in Dhaka killed 112 workers. The causes? Locked exits, no fire alarms, and flammable materials stacked in open rooms. Sound familiar? Both tragedies were symptoms of the same disease: profit over people, speed over safety. And if you're thinking, well, at least now brands have learned their lesson, that's cute. Let's take a look at what's changed and what hasn't. From sweatshops to Shein, the system that never changed. Before we go full 2013 disaster mode, let's zoom out. Bangladesh's garment industry is worth over $40 billion today, according to the Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association, BGMEA. It's the world's second largest exporter of clothes after China. Why Bangladesh? Cheap labor. As of 2023, the legal minimum wage for garment workers is about $75 a month. The Asia Floor Wage Alliance points out that a living wage, one that actually covers food, housing, and health care, would be at least 3 times higher. In the early 2000s, global brands realized they could shift production here, slashing costs while keeping retail prices competitive. The catch? Minimal safety enforcement, weak unions, and rampant corruption in building inspections. Enter Rana Plaza. Built in 2006 as a commercial building, not a factory. Owner, Sohel Rana, a politically connected businessman. Multiple additional floors added illegally, rented to several garment factories producing for export. By 2013, this setup was standard practice. Cut corners on construction, stuff the building with sewing lines, and ignore regulations. When the cracks appeared on April 23rd, workers were terrified. The BBC interviewed survivor Reshma Begum, who recalled, "We didn't want to go in. The bosses said if we didn't, we'd lose our pay." At 8:57 a.m. the next day, the building collapsed. Rescue operations lasted weeks. The stories from survivors are horrific. People trapped under rubble for days without food or water, limbs amputated on site to free workers. The stench of decomposition spreading as bodies were pulled from the debris. Now, here's where the Today connection slaps you in the face. In 2024, the New York Times published an investigation into Temu's supply chain in China. Factories were found violating fire safety laws, blocking emergency exits, and cramming hundreds of workers into poorly lit floors, all to meet lightning-fast shipping deadlines. Sound familiar? The truth is, the fashion industry operates on the exact same incentives it did in 2013, just with a slicker marketing layer. We now have sustainability hashtags, conscious collections, and influencers unboxing hauls. But the foundation? Still exploitation. And here's the kicker. Rana Plaza didn't just expose brand hypocrisy, it exposed consumer hypocrisy. After the disaster, Google searches for ethical fashion spiked, according to a 2014 paper in the Journal of Consumer Behavior. But fast fashion sales barely dipped. Translation: we cared until the next sale. Promises, paperwork, and the same old lies. Post-Rana Plaza, the global fashion industry swore it would change. The Accord on Fire and Building Safety in Bangladesh was signed in May 2013 by over 200 brands and trade unions. Legally binding inspections, worker training, and transparent reporting were promised. And yes, some progress was made. According to the 2021 Accord report, over 38,000 inspections were conducted and thousands of safety hazards were fixed. But here's the dark side. Many brands refused to sign, opting for weaker voluntary programs. Some quietly pulled production out of Bangladesh, only to move it to even less regulated countries like Ethiopia, Myanmar, and Cambodia. And enforcement? Spotty at best. In 2018, the Clean Clothes campaign accused several major brands, including Walmart and Benetton, of failing to pay into the Rana Plaza compensation fund on time. Victims waited years for full payouts. Meanwhile, the rise of Shein and Temu has introduced a new problem: ultra-fast fashion. Instead of seasonal collections, these brands drop thousands of new designs every week. That speed means even more pressure on factories, more risk-taking, and more shadow subcontracting, exactly the recipe for another Rana Plaza. In other words, we didn't fix the system. We just outsourced the risk somewhere else, out of sight and out of mind. Cheap clothes, costly lives, the business model from hell. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Rana Plaza wasn't a freak accident. It was the inevitable result of a supply chain built on exploitation. The system works like this. Brands demand rock-bottom prices. Factory owners cut costs on materials, safety, and wages. Governments look the other way because exports mean GDP growth. Consumers get cheap clothes and fast shipping. Everyone wins, except the people sewing the clothes. As Bloomberg noted in a 2023 report on Shein, low prices are subsidized by labor conditions that would be illegal in the countries where the clothes are sold. So when we see cracks, literal or metaphorical, in the system, we patch them with PR campaigns. Rana Plaza showed us the blueprint for disaster. We've just changed the location. Justice delayed, profits delivered. Sohel Rana, the building owner, was arrested trying to flee to India. In 2017, he was charged with murder. As of 2024, trials are still dragging on, with multiple appeals. Justice, it seems, moves slower than fast fashion. Some brands took a PR hit but recovered quickly. Primark, for example, publicly contributed to compensation funds and launched ethical sourcing campaigns. Sales continued. For the workers, though, life didn't magically improve. Many survivors can no longer work due to injuries. Others return to the same factories because there are few other jobs. And the global audience? We moved on. Until the next viral hashtag. The cracks are still there. Will we look this time? 10 years later, Rana Plaza is both a memorial and a warning. The same patterns, unsafe factories, impossible deadlines, rock-bottom wages are alive and well in the ultra-fast fashion era. If you're wearing clothes right now, and I hope you are, odds are they passed through a system just like Rana Plaza. The only real difference? The building hasn't fallen, yet. So here's the question. Do we actually care enough to change? Or do we just care until the next discount code hits our inbox? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you think this story deserves to be heard, share it. And if you want more deep dives into the dirty side of global business, subscribe to Hidden Dirt, because the cracks are still there. We just stopped looking.